If I were to go back in time and change or alter things in my past, a tricky question. There's lots of stuff I would change in a way, you know, lots of mistakes, lots of stupid things that I did. The only caveat with that is the stupid things you learn from, so no regrets. So maybe I wouldn't change anything, baby.
Cannabis market in the UK is worth over $6 billion a year. Now, we've managed to corner a substantial share of that market.
Aren't you employed to cull the foxes?
I must say my client was somewhat disappointed to hear you'd instructed your lawyers to pull out of negotiations before he'd had the chance to counter with a more attractive offer. That notwithstanding, my client would like to see if you'd be open to a face-to-face meeting.
Assuming your conversation with Mr. Dixon went well.
There's a couple of caveats, but he's agreed to accept the full as long.
There is, however, one minor caveat.
What do you mean, minor caveat?
Break the gun, please, Freddie. He wants you to say you're a cock.
I don't want any vestige of humanity left in you.
Okay, let's all take a moment to cogitate. What did it say?
It was ambiguous.
What do you mean it was ambiguous?
Not clear. Open to interpretation.
I know what ambiguous means, Errol. What did the text say? You see, he hasn't come home, so I'm trying to ascertain his whereabouts.
Its desperate attempts to escape only underscore the hopelessness of its plight.
I think it really does underscore the basic difference how men and women look at this issue.
2 years ago, Hurricane Katrina underscored the deep economic and class divide that still exists in this country.
I just think all this anti-mutant protesting underscores a genuine growing concern among most Americans.
The recent events underscore the need for a better understanding of the environmental impact of biotechnology. The recent events underscore the need for a better understanding of the environmental impact of biotechnology.
Events like these underscore the urgency of my request to Congress now.
Just underscoring the series.
Today's attack underscores. As I said, we are conducting a robust investigation into Compound V. We believe it was the work of a small, disaffected group of scientists led by former Vought employee, Madeline Stillwell. Today's attack underscores just how dangerous the threat of super-terrorists has become.
Only underscores the importance of the lessons I can impart to you.
The response from the public underscores the importance of having a full investigation of the facts. The response from the public underscores the importance of having a full investigation of the facts. The response from the public underscores the importance of having a full investigation of the facts.
The response from the public underscores the importance of having a full investigation of the facts. The response from the public underscores the importance of having a full investigation of the facts.
How do you account for that?
Account for it.
It doesn't account for differences.
Science cannot account for.
Math can't account for human error.
Fail to account for me.
My ostensible search for peaches was in reality a search for adventure.
Now, the ostensible purpose for this truck ride was what exactly?
Ostensible crew.
See Charlotte's ostensible severed finger!
Ostensibly, we own this district.
Pakistan is ostensibly our ally.
The ostensible subject was the future of Britain in the region.
Ostensible application in case someone came snooping around.
Ostensibly incorrect.
Father, say goodbye to Charlotte's ostensible kidnapper.
Whose lives were ostensibly brought together.
And you use the word ostensibly too much!
Thought I accounted for this.
Protocol accounts for whatever comes up.
And I can't account for it. If every minute is accounted for.
Every penny was accounted for.
Fail to account for me.
Every vote was accounted for.
That account for 68 bombs.
Accountable for conflicts in object.
Or he'd even accounted for that.
I didn't account for doth. I didn't account for doth.
To account for it.
Bouts have been accounted for.
In an attempt to account for the lack of interest, political analysts have looked at past voting patterns.
In an attempt to account for the lack of interest, political analysts have looked at past voting patterns. In an attempt to account for the lack of interest. In an attempt to account for the lack of interest.
It is not easy to account for the fall in population of these birds.
I'll be sure to mull that over.
How'd you get to woo-woo?
Predictive text, I suppose.
My father kept a herd of white park on the estate. Commercially non-viable, but he loved the way they used to chase the ramblers off the footpaths.
But to be honest, my life's not been the same since. It was like a whatchamacallit, one of those epiphany things.
Well, it is a great comfort, knowing that we have your continued discretion with all the goings-on around the house.
You can be in no doubt of the steadfastness of my loyalty towards you.
It's easier to move, and the numbers are bigger, but it attracts all sorts of flotsam and jetsam.
I mean, he'll know who you are. I'm sure he'll be susceptible to your powers of persuasion, man.
Think of the theatre, the pageantry of the Third Reich.
But Eddie here proved himself remarkably capable at arbitration.
Oh, fuck.
After the inevitable to and fro, we managed to iron out terms that were acceptable to all parties.
Despite the few minor niggles we might have come across in the last couple of days, you actually came out on top.
In fact, and this may come as a shock to you, given my chosen career path, I actually make a point of avoiding being shot at all times. You've proved yourself to be a consummate team player.
They will get angry and squawk. And if I don't pay them immediately, they will get angry and squawk. And meanwhile, prepare for all eventualities.
I go as far as to say he was effervescent with excitement.
But you don't have carte blanche to go over my head whenever you choose.
Looks can be deceiving. One rings around him, Sue. Trust me.
One job, 3 targets, no margin for error. Then him and his brother lied through their teeth to cover it up.
Now, the French, they awarded the pigeon the Medal of Valor. But I see this as a sign, an epiphany, so to speak.
I needed to convince you and your father that I was in earnest.
The list that I gave to Mr. Stevens was, in fact, spurious.
I'm just a gamekeeper, Charlotte.